Hello, good morning, and welcome to episode 32 of Nebula Quest. I am Noden, your host, as always. So, we start today as we continue on our journey towards the Horsehead Nebula, the Horsehar. Wow, that is an old reference. If you get a reference to Horsehar, I'm doubly impressed. No, today we're going to start by, I want to go take a look and see how far have we gone. Now, I have a sneaky suspicion it's still not very far. 401 light years. Not in the grand scheme of galactic travel. We have gone down the street. Pretty much, that's what it feels like to me. So we have gone, down the street of the galactic town, city, metropolitan area. But we're going. We're actually haven't really moved sort of vertically very far, it feels. Like, I feel like we've got to go down much farther, much faster. So today, if I hit the home button, I think that works. Look at that. Look at me, I know how to do stuff. I'm starting a downward dive. A dive. We need to climb a little bit to get a good dive. You need to, like, arc yourself into a good dive, and then you go down like the whale, and your big tail kind of flips in the air, and you blah 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 blah. Whatever, let's just get going. Alright, wrong button. I know I can't, I don't know how to touch buttons. Touch me, whew. Oh, stop touching me. You touched me all wrong. Jesus Christ. So, news. There is news today. I think today was today. Yes, today. Whatever day this is today, which isn't the day that this is being released, but today that it's the day that's being recorded. There is Star Citizen news, and it may seem a little bit, bad form. I don't know. It may seem a little bit, to talk about Star Citizen while we're playing Elite Dangerous, but I don't care. This is my cares. Not at all. So today, available now, is a brand new starter-ish ship, we'll say, in Star Citizen, or what will eventually become Star Citizen. And it is the new MISC Reliant. So it's a new sort of...
Warning, taking heat
Jesus. Okay. As I say, it's a new starter ship. It's not really a starter. I think I saw it listed as like a starter upgrade or a starter Mark II. It's sort of like a slightly higher class starter ship. It's actually pretty cool. It's sort of like a vertical flight feature to it. There's a ship that I'm trying to think of now. I think it was in like Star Wars, the Clone Wars movie, or not movies, but the cartoon, and it was like it would land horizontally, and then when it got up and it started going, it would look kind of like rotate around a central cockpit, and like the fuselage would go vertically. I don't know why you would actually do that with a ship, but that's what it did, and that's what this ship seems to do. Let's go all stop, and let's find out where this big ass star is that just kicked us out of frame shift. I'm gonna follow the glow. There it is. Let's just take a peek-see at this bad boy. Now it okay, I'm sure. Can we lock this destination, please? I don't know why I couldn't look at it. Also, let's retract our hard points. I'm guessing this is a Tory, so it's pretty fun looking. Kind of got a B-wing shape to it, I suppose. A little bit of it reminds me a little bit of a B-wing. It's not exactly a B-wing, but it's got sort of that like vertical ship with a cross kind of a thing going. T-Tory. So there's probably, if there's anything around here, it's just rocks. But I'm gonna go guess there's nothing here, so let's just get our moving on. But it's pretty cool, and it's nice that, again, it's nice that there are ships being announced again. Sort of new, kind of almost unexpected ships. You don't think? No, I don't think. J.
Frameshift drive charging.
Thank you. it's nice, but like, I certainly wasn't aware. Now I have to, I admit, I've actually kind of stopped watching a lot of the,
3, 2,
93%. I had Hollow Integrity. A lot of the materials that are coming out of
warning.
Robert's Space
Taking heat
Industry
damage.
or whatever it is, and the people who are making the games. Mostly because I'm not enjoying it. Like I watched like all back in the day, like all the Wingman's hangar ones, and I
Taking
mean,
heat damage.
they weren't fantastic pieces of cinema or anything, but they were kind of fun, and I don't know. The new stuff is, I think, just packed with so much more. Like, they're obviously spending so much more time, and it seems so much more produced, that it loses something. There was something that was, I'm not going to say innocent, but sort of approachable about, like, the Wingman's hangar videos and whatnot that they put out. I don't know. Maybe it's just silly, but it's been really hard for me to kind of watch the new ones, and I can't be bothered. So I'm not keeping up with what's going on. Plus, there is a small part of me that is still kind of holding out, because I know it's going to be ages until the game comes out, and, you know, but much like with this, like, I kind of want to just be able to go out and, like find out stuff when I don't want to, like, come into the game knowing everything about the game, and I don't think that that's what's going to happen. I think that they've got enough, like, cards, like, stuffed into their, like, sleeves that, you know, we won't know everything that's happening. But I think that, like, even with the amount of information that's out there, and even with the amount of information I already have about, like, a lot of the ships, and even owning the ships that I own, like, I do feel like I'm taking a few. It feels a little bit like I got some cheat codes early on or something like that, and I've just kind of like, and I'm kind of like conscious of that fact. I had slowed down. I tried, and I failed. Okay, I got nothing. Still trying to slow. Okay, we're finally starting to slow down. We're not slowed down enough. I need to. Okay, do I need to accelerate and then decelerate? I don't know what that is. That's strange. I think I have cruise control. Like, I've got some sort of, I think I talked about this before, I've got like a Toyota, a space Toyota, and the accelerator just sticks. You come off the accelerator and it just sort of sticks there a little bit. I mean, it slowly comes back, but it's just very slow. I need to take this into a garage and have it looked at. That's what I'm saying. I need to get some warranty work done. I'm sure there's like a recall, you know, if I read like the bulletins or something like that, they'd be like, today we're announcing the recall of the Toyota Adder. That'd be a horrible name for a Toyota. I actually was recently I suddenly have the biggest urge for like an old Toyota, like an 80s Toyota, but I can't find any. I'm not sure if maybe they just didn't exist in like North America, or if they are all just smushed, or if people have some and they're holding on to them because they're like, well, these will be collector items, or if they just never came here. Like, it's quite possible that, like, I mean, I don't have the wherewithal or particularly desire to kind of get like a Japanese domestic market Toyota and bring it here and then have to deal with right-hand drive and all that shit, and then, oh goodness, that hassles. But there's part of me that really kind of wants like an old, like, boxy Toyota, like the old, and then just like do all kinds of stupid stuff to it and make it just JDM as hell. And yeah, there's part of me that wants to do that, but I won't, totally won't. But part of me wants to. What was I going to talk about? Oh yeah, so Star Citizen. Yes, I'm not really paying attention to it as much as I was, and like I say, I think there's good parts to that and bad parts to that, and the good parts are that I don't know everything that's going on, and the bad parts are is that I'm not as kept up to breast with, like, news and rumors and what's going on. Like, I didn't know if this Reliant ship was something that we've known about, or is it something that's just like, oh, by the way, here's a ship. Yep, we've been working on this. I know we've been saying that we're working on ships that you guys don't know about, but here you go. And I don't know if this is a ship, one of the ships that's sort of like, I don't know if it's ready for, like, in the hangar. I don't even know that. I haven't even read the full article yet. Yes, I don't know if it's something that's ready for people to, like, use, and then I'm like, well, but there's, like, ships that we've been voting on. Like, I voted for the Herald, which I've talked about, which is, like, the, Info Runner ship. I'm psyched for it. I own one. I bought it. Because that's silly. Because it's what, information running is what I want to do in that game when the game finally comes out. So I bought a designated Info Runner ship so I can have fun going very fast and streaming audio to the world. And we're just gonna pirate all kinds of anime across the whole galaxy is the plan. And but yes, I don't know. I just don't know if what's going on with that. Like, I don't know why we're getting this ship when we've got other ships that every year's kind of been like, well, and then they're saying, oh, we're doing these rebuilds on ships that we already have, and it's like, well, okay, so we're doing all this stuff, but do I need another starter ship? I mean, I suppose so. I mean, I suppose starter ships, like much like cars. I mean, like, when you think about big, expensive, okay, let's yeah, when you think of, like, big, expensive, fast cars, for instance, there's always, like, you know, like the Lamborghinis and the Ferraris and the Bugattis. Actually, Bugatti, I suppose, is German, so it'd be Bugatti or something, I don't know. And the Porsches and your so ons and so forth. So, I mean, there's a handful of names you can think of. But when you think of, like, entry-level vehicles, like your Ford Fiestas and your Hyundai Elantras or whatever they are, and your Civics and your... like, there is 1,000,001 entry-level cars. So I suppose having just a butt-ton of entry-level ships should kind of be a priority. And then we can worry about, like, all the fancy ships with the intergalactic cruise missiles and the racing space orgasms and the large Firefly class ships that we all are wetting ourselves for. They can all come later. Let's just pop down here real quick. I think it's just an ice ball, but yeah, it looks like an ice ball. Hoping one day I'm gonna find myself a nice little water world, and I'm just gonna be the happiest little bastard. I feel like I'm being a little more vulgar than I usually am. I don't know. I'm actually recording this, like, late at night, or late-ish at night. What time is it right now? It is 1 o'clock in the morning, 1:03, or 01:03, you know, if you prefer. But
drive charging.
Thank you, my dear. Yeah, I'm after work, and I'm sipping here a nice cup of green tea that I conveniently bought at a lovely Noden Space Coffee just around the corner. Available at a Noden Space Coffee near you, coming soon.
2, 1, engage.
And just had some delicious dinner. I just made up myself a nice little delicious dinner with some stir-fried vegetables and a little bit of leftover roast beef and some noodles and a bunch of oyster sauce and yummy stuff. But yeah, I don't know. So yes, anyways, I feel like I'm being, and then beyond all that, and I feel like I'm being a little bit vulgar. No idea. Maybe it's because I said orgasm, and maybe the first time in a space quest. What? No, it's not Space Quest. We have been watching your historical documents, and you have mentioned the word orgasm before. No, Nebula Quest. First time I've mentioned the word, orgasm in Nebula Quest. Which, I mean, that's, whatever. Who cares? I don't. I feel like I've had a drink. I haven't had a drink. I'm not drunk, guys. I thought about it. There's some wine upstairs. I was like, ooh, nice little glass of wine. A little bit of, you know, Elite Dangerous. Sounds great, but don't fly drunk. And that's what my grandfather told me. He said, don't be an astronaut drunk, and I believed him because he wasn't an astronaut.
Frameshift drive charging.
So on a personal side, while we're talking about my drunkard grandfather who was not an astronaut and not a drunkard, I've been getting into something over the last
4, 3,
few weeks.
1.
Something like I've not really ever tried to get into, but it was one of those things I'm like, I'm not gonna like it. Despite the fact there was a few, and I'm getting to the whole point of what it is I like, but there was a few things like landmark kind of things where I'm like, I really enjoyed this, but I always kind of went, I'm not gonna enjoy this. Like, this is not my thing. And what is that thing? It's anime. I mentioned it a moment ago where I was talking about running across the galaxy, distributing counterfeit, not counterfeit, whatever, whatever, distributing anime. But I've never been into anime. It was one of those things that I kind of went and I'm like, that's not my thing. Despite the fact that I have like a special edition, like first time it was released on DVD, like metal box set edition of Akira, which is one of my favorite movies of all time. I've got it on VHS somewhere as well. Well, it's one of my favorite movies of all time, and yet I'm like, well, anime, I'm not really into it. It's not my thing, dude. And then, what's the other one that I really enjoy that I have is, oh crap, now I can't even think what it was. I was just thinking about it like a little while ago. Anyway, something else that I enjoy, and I was like, oh, that doesn't count as enjoying anime. But it was like, I don't know why. I always had this sort of like, you're not going to enjoy it. Actually, I have a theory about it. But been watching a lot of Dodger's stuff on her channel and whatnot, and she's big into anime, and I've been, like a few other places, and I'm like, well, maybe it's time I give anime another shot, And I'm like, well, have I ever given it a shot? I mean, other than Akira and whatever that other thing is that I have. What the hell else is it? Oh, Ghost in the Shell. I've got a good couple of copies of that too, kicking around. But that was just like Ghost in the Shell was more like everybody told me I should watch it, and then I did enjoy it, but I kind of have it, but it wasn't like Akira where I'm like, like where I really enjoyed it, and it's like something that stands out in my memory as like in a period of time of my life kind of a thing. But so I'm like, anyways, regardless, I'm like, well, I'll give it another shot or something like that. But so I've been kind of really not like doing heavy research or anything like that, but kind of like, well, where does one begin with anime? So somebody wants to get into anime. What do you give them to say, here, this is anime, you will enjoy this? And then you kind of realize that, like, well, anime is really not, like, to say, like, well, I don't watch anime. Anime is really broad. Anime is like, yes, it's animated and it's Japanese. That's pretty much what it means. But it could be drama, it could be sci-fi, it could be horror, it can be, obviously, there's lots of sex anime stuff. I think that's got a whole different name for it. That is not something I'm interested in. And that's, I think, one of the things that kind of, like, drew me away from a lot of, like, anime. Because a lot of the anime that you kind of hear about seems like it's, like, made for kids, made for, like, I don't know, furries, or made for people, like, not weird, but made for people who like big animated boobs and jism. Yes, big animated jism. Which to each their own. Everybody's got their own kink. I ain't here to judge or anything, but that's not my thing. And I got no real interest in seeing that unless it's like part of like a
frameshift drive charging.
Well, I can't think of, I'm like, unless it's part of a story, I'm like, what part of a story does big animated jism come into? But I haven't figured that one out yet. But if it ever did, and it, like, fit the story,
Ready to engage. 4,
I'd have no problem with it being there. But I don't just need it in my life.
engage.
Wow. that's a sidetrack and a half. That's a hell of a sidetrack. So, anyways, but yeah, so I'm trying to like find out how to get into anime. So if you have any suggestions on where to start with in anime, I'm like, because I'm, you know, obviously I'm big into sci-fi, which I am. I'm into some of the fantasy stuff too, but so I actually what I started with, and I've actually really enjoyed was Netflix has their original series and has an original series, which is anime, which is Knights of Sidonia. So I started with that, and actually I've really been enjoying that. The Canadian, I think, I shouldn't say the Canadian. They've got one season out right now. The next season's coming out sometime this year. And very vague. Ooh, sometime this year. So I'm really looking forward to it now because I finished the first season, and I'm like, well, okay, now I'm hooked. Oops. Let's do one of these dubstep scanners real quick. I need some fuel, man. We're down below 50%, and I'm uncomfortable with how little fuel we have. Okay, let's move away from that dwarf. Actually, let's just head towards this thing. So I really enjoyed that. I'm watching some other things right now. I found a few outlets that will allow me to watch a bunch of anime and stuff, so that's cool. I'm excited to kind of dive in, but I don't know. I'm still trying to find out like where to really kind of begin. So if you know of some good fun sci-fi anime with not too much big animated jism, let me know. Leave it in the comments section below, and right there in between my legs. And I'll definitely check that out because it's something that I'm like, well, you know, like, I don't know. Like, I was never into comic books. Like, I've never been into manga really at all either. But that's because I've never been into comic books. Like, it's just not something that I've ever gotten into. It's never clicked with me. Comic books especially. I mean, I've tried repeatedly with comic books, and I've got friends who have tried repeatedly to get me into comic books, and it's just not something that ever clicked with me, and that's fine. Yeah, not everybody's geekdom, not everybody's like, not the things that we nerd about aren't what everybody nerds about, and we can't expect anybody else to nerd about the things we nerd about, because the things that we nerd about are specific to us, and that's good. That's what makes being a nerd so fucking amazing, is that we can feel passionately about something and nobody else has to feel as passionately about it, or maybe they do, but they may have other things that they also feel passionately about. The point is, nerding is cool, and we're nerding about stuff, and comic books is not something I ever nerd about. Anime, apparently, isn't something I ever did, but I kind of feel like I could, and now I want to try and really dive in and see what's out there, and kind of just make my, I don't know, find my niche, find out what's out there. And obviously, since I've enjoyed a few things like Akira and Ghost in the Shell, I'm watching actually some of the other Ghost in the Shell ones that are currently available on Netflix as well, just because they're there. Knights of Sidonia, like I said, I really enjoyed that. So, like, yeah, all things like this, really good. Kind of looking forward to just finding out what's out there, doing the things. If I can ever get to this stupid planet to explore it. Sip of tea. Calm down. Goodness gracious. Yeah, so, and then plus a lot of the, I should say, a lot of the graphic novels and whatnot that are available are in a anime/manga kind of format. So it's kind of helpful to have a sort of, and I think that's part of what got me into it, was like seeing some of these graphic novels and whatnot, and experiencing some of them as I have now, and going, you know, I really enjoy this, and I'm really enjoying it. I'm like, and then that's, I mean, yes, the language isn't always fantastic, but, you know, the story is real. I mean, the emotions are real. Sometimes you don't need great language to convey a great story, and I think that's part of it. And sometimes, like, and I'm watching, like I did all the Knights of Sidonia, oh god, I'm about to open a can of worms. I watched it all with the dubbing, English dubbing, instead of the subtitles. I know, I'm sorry, purists. But I tried, you know. But mostly that's just a immersion thing for me, is that it's easier for me to immerse myself in the story. I'm really considering going back and watching Nights in Sidonia again, but with subtitles. And I think that's something that is sort of the best of both worlds. You watch it one way and you get all immersed in it, and then you watch it the other way and then you get all the fine details that you get from having the subtitles. So I think that's probably what I will do. Okay. But we'll see. There's also, I mean, let's be honest, there's lots of stuff out there. There's so much stuff out there that there may not be time. So, but we'll find out. I'm excited to just, you know, explore, have fun exploring a whole new entertainment world that I've closed myself off to for no reason in the past. And yeah, let's keep ourselves open to new experiences and new bits of the world that we can fall in love with, maybe. Yes. Okay. Well, I'm going to end this episode now and float here and hope that one day we find somewhere with fuel. And yes, at that time and until then, ciao, I love ya. Good night.